Hi, guys, and welcome to the Full Time Sports Network. This was going on X, but I forgot that my monthly subscription has run out, so this is only going out on the Full Time Sports Network. But big up to everyone. Do welcome. Enjoy this Champions League final watch along, and with me for a while. Hopefully, he stays for the stream. You never know. We could coax him into watching the game with me and James. Of course, it's the one and only, as we're now going to nickname him, the American Hotspur. Steve, how are you doing this evening, sir? And look, it's an interesting final, isn't it? It's something that we have interest in as Spurs fans because we do play the winners. Where's your money tonight? Where if you had $10, where are you going?
Good question. $10, huh? That's not a lot of money, but I would probably the smart money is on PSG. The heart is with Inter Milan, but that being said, it's probably going to be PSG. You know, the talent is just next worldly. It's unbelievable.
It is. It really is. And we'll just say hi to James's head. Hi, James's forehead. There we go. Hey. Ooh, lovely. That is nice. Where's your money gone for tonight, James? Where are you going tonight? I agree with Steve. PSG are something out there, but from a Spurs fan point of view, I want Inter Milan.
Yeah, I would like Inter Milan to win, and if I was going to chuck a tenner on it, I'd probably go to Inter Milan. But
yeah.
I can just see PSG nabbing this. It's like it was very much written in the stars for us. I think
very much written in the stars for them.
Yeah. I think it's their turn. So I apologise. You're not seeing my mouth. I'm just don't think anybody would really like to see me shoving food in my face.
Well, big up to everyone on the Full Time Sports Network. It's the first time I've actually properly streamed on the Full Time Sports Network, so I'm very excited. This is not going out onto our channels. This is just exclusively live. And hello to the 0 people watching, but I'm sure people will come in and watch us as the match goes on. I can't go over to X because, as I said, there's a problem with my X account. But Steve, look, Champions League. Have you enjoyed it this year?
You know what? I can't say that I have because most of my time was spent on the Europa League for the first time in quite a while. I just didn't necessarily have that rooting interest, although I will say that in the league phase, I definitely did because of AC Milan. So I was kind of glued to the Rossoneri, but for the most part, once it was established that the Americans were out of the Champions League, most focus went over to the Europa League. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. Just very quickly, just to get numbers going, we have put this up on mine, but we do have internationals coming up in June. On 6th, the 11th, and the 11th, we have Ecuador versus Brazil. We have Argentina versus Colombia, and we have Brazil versus Paraguay. Is this the Gold Cup, is it, Steve? So do you want to talk through, because they're just showing there what's coming up on Premier Sports here in Ireland, and all the American soccer's coming up, the Gold Cup and the MLS and everything. So what's coming up this summer in South America and North America, soccer-wise?
Well, this year is not a year for the Copa America, considering it happened last year. So the South American Championships is in an off year. This year it will be the Gold Cup, which is the championship of CONCACAF, which is the confederations of North America, South America, and in the Caribbean. So the U.S., Mexico, Canada, Saudi Arabia, and I believe Japan are going to be a part of this year's Gold Cup. So there's going to be some intrigue with the Gold Cup. But also on U.S. soil this year is going to be the Club World Cup, which I believe PSG and a handful of Premier League teams will be a part of this year. And of course, for Major League Soccer as well too, it's going to be Leagues Cup, which is the competition between Major League Soccer and Liga MX, which is the league for the Mexican Football Federation. So a lot of good stuff that's coming up on North American soil this summer.
Yeah, do apologise. My camera decides to pack up. Of all times, it decides to throw a wobbly. It's thrown the biggest wobbly this side of Ireland. Honest to God, I don't. I might have to.
Just as we get his first 2 viewers as well, Dermo.
I know. There you go. I'm back. Don't know what happened. I paused it and unpaused it. Look, would you tonight, James? Look, it is. What have you thought of the Champions League this year? I've enjoyed it, right? But do you think the new format was always going to be Super League enhanced?
Yes. I think it was a way of UEFA stopping the Super League from happening by saying, okay, we'll create a Super League. But we'll just give you a knockout tournament at the end of it.
Right.
So I think a lot. I think it's been all right this season's Champions League. I think it's thrown up a few surprises and a few shock results. I mean, whoever thought Arsenal would get by Real Madrid? Aston Villa nearly knocking out Paris Saint-Germain.
Right.
There's been some interesting results with it. So I like the new format. I'll be honest with you. When they announced it, I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
It's just another way for the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer.
Yeah.
Right.
But in all fairness, I've actually warmed to it.
Yeah.
I think I like I like the fact that there's no drop down anymore. You can't drop down to the Europa League. You can't drop down out of the Europa League down to the Conference.
And there's no dead rubbers either, is there? There's
No.
no more dead rubber games. And I mean, Steve, did you find that boring with the old Champions League format? It was too boring, wasn't it? There was too many dead robbers. You sort of knew who's going to win each group.
Yes and no. The thing that I liked about it was the group stage. The reason why I liked the group stage was simply because it didn't take long to complete. Right, four teams per group, 6 matches each, and you were done essentially by the 1st of January. Which means that teams that desperately needed to buy at the winter transfer window knew exactly who was going to be moving on versus who was going to be done with their European schedule, which essentially opens the door. The problem with the league phase now is that this thing extends through the winter window, and of course, as our beloved Ange Postecoglou said in November and December of this last year, that means more teams are in it. More teams are going to be reluctant to sell some of their players on. And so it creates a little bit of traffic for the winter traffic window. But that being said, when you look at the whole of the league phase, you can understand why they went to it because it made a little bit more sense. But that being said, in the group stage, though, you had the exact same amount of upsets as we saw in the league phase. So as far as the upset factor, I think it's still the same kind of.
Yeah. Big up to Mr. Brady. He says Mayo 8 points up at halftime. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. If Mayo lose that tonight, now we're out of the All Island. The teams are coming out the pitch, guys. Right, yep. I'm going to nail you to the wall, the pair of you. Not literally, but not literally. Don't get all excited, James. I'm not literally going to nail you to the wall. Don't worry. Just figure of speech. See, I told you, James.
I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'd be Steve nailing me to the wall. Right, Steve. I want you to call it score prediction.
Sorry.
What's your score
prediction? Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. What are you sorry for?
I don't want any copyright issues.
I didn't see anything.
Oh yeah, I thought the volume of the stream came through. Okay.
No, didn't hear anything. What's your score prediction?
James, you go first.
3-1 Paris Saint-Germain.
I'm gonna go. Damn, I'm gonna go 2-2. 2-2, and then in extra time, PSG wins it on a late winner.
Ooh.
I am going for 4-0 PSG.
Wow.
Wow.
I think they're going to.
You don't think Inter are even going to have a sniff?
Nope. I think
Wow.
PSG are that good. They're probably the best team on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Probably.
You just look at that forward line. I mean, you just look at the whole team, from the goalkeeper down to Dembele up front, and also the manager as well, who has a way of playing that suits PSG down to the ground. And then you got Inzaghi, Italian manager, defensive in mind. You can't play defensive against PSG, because if you do that, then you're just inviting trouble onto you, aren't you, really? You're just inviting issues onto you. So if you're wondering what kits they're wearing tonight, PSG are in their home kit of all blue. And Inter Milan have got a really cool away kit, actually. I like that.
Oh, the yellow kit one? Yeah, it's funky, isn't it?
Very funky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we are going to have
I
a bit of a
think that's their. I actually think that's their third strip demo.
All right. And then
I don't think that's for away one.
Sorry.
Go
on, man.
I think their away kit is pure black.
Mm.
And that's their third kit. And they've had to change to the third kit because all black is very similar to the dark colour of Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah. Yes, Paris Saint-Germain have got the red stripe down the middle. But I'm pretty sure that's the reason why. They're in their third shirt tonight.
Right, because that you can't have contrasting colors. So, and you're right, Inter Milan's home colors are so close to their PSG's away kit. So yeah, 100%.
For you, Steve, we've got Inter Milan playing 5 in midfield. Why do you think they've gone with a 5-man midfield? We'll get PSG for you, James. We'll let you do at PSG's tactics. But for you, Steve, why have Inter Milan gone 5 in midfield? What do you think the thoughts are in Inzaghi's head for that as the game's about to kick off here?
I think they want to start incredibly quick, right? Having DeMarco and Dumfries being able to attack the wings, but also being able to play centrally. I think that I think one of the areas of concern for PSG might be through the middle of the park. But that being said, for Inter's ability to get on the board quick and try to get out as quick as possible, they're going to have to take their shots, and they're going to have to be far more direct than anybody really has against PSG lately. I don't know if it's actually going to work, but I would just assume that with 2 wing backs and their ability to press to the middle of the park, that's probably going to be what they're going to try to achieve.
And James, for you, PSG, how do you think they're going to set, as the game's kicked off, guys? We're 30 seconds in. How do you think PSG are going to set up tactically tonight? What's your sort of view on that?
Basically, get the ball out to Kvaratskhelia. Kvaratskhelia whips the ball into Dembele. Dembele puts it in back at net. That's pretty much PSG's game plan.
Right, and if Dembele doesn't, then you have Bradley Barcola. So yeah, it's like it's
And you've got Desiree Doué on the right as well, who can deliver a killer ball as well. So I mean, it's one of those. It's get the ball out wide, get it into the box. That is the PSG philosophy.
But believe me, I do love James's tactics show. This is going to be great. Like, how top I'm going to say that? Bang, 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 goal.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because James is absolutely not wrong at all. It's the funniest thing. It's like, yeah, we're just going to make sure that Dembele can get free, and then that's it.
Yeah. And balls it back at net into the land keepers picking it out.
Do you know how these players going to be so nervous tonight, aren't they? I mean, me and Jane, we did the PSG. What was it? PSG Arsenal one we did on
PSG Arsenal, yeah.
And that's why this watch along is more like a relaxed one, because we talked about everything that night, didn't we? Everything about football.
Oh yeah, we did.
So that's
I think we covered the globe.
I don't think that these players are going to be nervous at all. You know,
No,
the
I
funny
don't
thing
think
is,
so.
like, if anything, I thought that Tottenham and Manchester United would be nervous in that final. Turns out that was much to do about nothing. I think that because PSG has been in the Champions League before, they understand this stage. Same thing with Inter. They've been here and done that before. So,
Yeah.
You know.
Here we go. Have we got a touch? It's just, oh my good Lord. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Did you just see that, how he went down? Yeah, man, the PSG man put his hand on the Inter Milan's chest and he went down clutching his face. I mean,
and the Academy Award for worst flop goes to.
Yeah. Did these players not have any pride in themselves at all? Like,
no, they don't. No, they don't. If you can wake up in the morning understanding that you're flopping to get cards, I'm sorry, you don't take pride as a footballer. I'm sorry.
I swear to God, football's changed so much from the years when I was watching it. We were all watching it as kids. Like, it has changed again. I mean, diving was in, I suppose, coming in then, but could you imagine the 80s or 70s players doing that?
You know, credit to Messi and Ronaldo because they didn't do that, but it was Neymar. Neymar was the one that took flopping to the art form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, James, go on, man.
I was just about to say, it was Neymar that he did 6 rolls. I think it was in the World Cup.
Oh yeah,
of something, and he just went, and he covered the like a quarter of the pitch rolling. And the memes that came out about that, the gifs and everything, were so funny.
Who was the Brazilian that went down? The ball was kicked at his legs and he went down clutching his face in Japan. Do you remember that one?
Was
it Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
One of them.
It was either R9. It was either R9 or Ronaldinho. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
I
don't think it was. I don't think it was I don't think R9, the original R9, was a diver, was he? He was just clinical. He was
same thing with the original.
Same thing with the original Ronaldo. The Ronaldo that played for Inter Milan way back in the day. No, he wasn't a diver either.
No.
As a matter of fact, I can't remember diving.
Same guy. Same guy, Steve.
Oh, is it? Okay. I can't remember diving being a thing until like 2000, like between 2008 and 2010. That's when I really started seeing diving.
Yeah. It was always in the game, but it wasn't noticeable. And then suddenly the Premier League gets them flocked with foreign players, and then you see it in the Premier League like week in and week out. Like, now this crack now coming over if you file a player right and they're coming out right. So you got to book them. You got to book them. That for me is just book them. Book them. Get the referee right. You want to book in? Here we go. We're giving you a yellow card.
Yeah, that's what I want to see as well too. I want to see a yellow card for at least because it's wasting time and it's me personally, I think it's cheap.
Yeah. What you got on your pizza?
It's chicken, mushroom, onions, jalapenos, peppers.
Wow.
I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about covers it. Oh yeah, it's a great pizza though as well. It is a good pizza.
Chicken and mushrooms.
Oh, lovely. I love that in a pie, by the way. Chicken and mushroom pies. I love chicken and mushroom pies. They're lovely.
I can't stand mushrooms. I cannot do mushrooms at all.
There's a bit of argy-bargy here between Inter Milan and the PSG.
Argy-bargy?
Argy-bargy, yeah.
What's argy-bargy?
A little bit of pushing.
Okay.
Pushing and shoving.
Yeah, pushing and shoving. Argy-bargy.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. That's a good one. I like that one.
I haven't used it in years, but yeah.
Get up. Get up.
You must be ahead of us, Steve. James and me.
Oh, I'm 6 minutes and 10 seconds in.
Oh Jesus!
Oh, God,
I'm 7 minutes in. I'm way ahead of you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to pause my 10 so you two can catch up?
I'm at 7 minutes 9 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Let me
Sure.
know when you're at 7:09 then, Steve. Then you and me be
Oh,
linked
all
up.
right.
Then you and me together. And at least it's fair.
all right.
Well, I've got mine paused at 7:20. So when you kick
Oh,
off
okay,
again,
okay.
tell me. And
All
I'll
right. I get up to 7:20 and then I'll pause mine. Then we're all together. Then, like Little House on the Prairie.
Ooh.
Good night, John. Bye.
No, that was not Little
That
House on the
wa-
Prairie. That was
That were Waltons.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Little House on the Prairie.
That's showing me age now.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to watch Little House. I used to watch Little House on the Prairie quite a bit.
Where you time wise, Steve?
I'm coming up on 7:20 right now.
Okay. No, I was more of a Knight Rider fan, and a Knight Rider. And
Are you talking? You're
Magnum
talking about the car? You talking about the car named
Yeah.
Kit?
yeah,
With David Hasselhoff.
yeah. I had a
That's
poster on
excellent.
my
That's
wall as a
excellent.
kid with Knight Rider.
That's
I was a
excellent.
massive Miami Vice fan as well. I used to love Miami Vice. I still do. I still think Miami Vice is the best cop show that was ever made
Are you serious?
on TV. I just really do. I think for music, the people that were in it, the idea.
Miami Vice, huh? I was a see now this goes back a ways, but my favorite show was the Rockford Files.
Do you know what? I grew up on that.
Yeah.
Ooh, his peer. Do you know what? Very quickly,
James
PSG. Yeah, he's a very good actor. Wasn't he in that program they did in the late 90s? It was the family. The husband was in it. Didn't he die? The fella that ran that come up with the show, and they brought him as and the granddad.
I don't know.
I forget the name of the show. The one that was in the big. She was in it. Went on to star in the Big Bang Theory.
Oh no, that was John Ritter.
Was that who it was?
You talking about Kaylee Cuoco, and the show was called.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Kaylee. Yeah.
And that show was called 10 rules to date my daughter, or whatever it was called.
Yeah, that's it.
It's John Ritter.
Big Bang Ron's asking, is this live?
Ooh.
Well, if it isn't, then we're
all watching something.
Yeah,
we're in
It's
some
live.
weird universe where I don't know where we're in the Twilight Zone.
I hope it's live.
I hope it's live too, or if not, we're talking gibberish to one another. Inter surely can't lose 2 finals in a row. No, I don't think so. And he also says, can PSG? I don't know who Big Bad Ron's after. Go on, Big Bad Ron. Who do you want to win? You can't be sitting on 2. You have to pick one. Big up to Big Bad Ron. We got What's the Point TV. Says, any news today? Did we sign Messi yet? Yes, Messi has signed. James is Steve's going over to do the contracts as we speak after the show. James is just busy printing his shirt, and will. Steve will be introducing the player as Tottenham's new director of football. He's working on the Paratici. And James is Levy's new protege. So there you go. So I noticed James really did not even, when I said that, the look on his face was, don't do it. Just don't do that.
No, I mean, Messi's being hired as player coach.
Where is he?
That's going to be
at Inter Milan.
No, he's at Inter Miami.
Sorry. That's just bad. I just need to be put on the naughty step for 5. But getting an American soccer team wrong with Steve here, that is so bad.
He's in Major League Soccer. Yeah.
I did know that. I just get confused with Inter Miami and Inter Milan. I mean,
that's
different.
It's kind of the same too. It's kind of the same though, right? That's how they. Interestingly enough, that's how I think they came up with the Inter part. Was they absolutely peeled from Inter Milan?
Do you know what me and James talking about earlier today, Steve? We were talking about the row between FIFA and UEFA. And we won't say on there what James called it. Well, here's PSG. Just a little bit here and
What he
Inter
called
Milan.
FIFA. or UEFA?
What a goal! I mean, that's just go on, Steve. Describe that goal.
Was that
and then
Hakimi? Was that Hakimi just left alone in the box right there?
Yeah. Go on, describe that goal, and then I get James's thought on the defending from Inter Milan.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? This was just your classic. I'm not going to mark anybody that's right in front of the goalkeeper situation. As Hakimi made a run into the box, and of course it was, I believe it was Desiree Doué that found him right there. Nice little clean pass into the box, and right there from that point it was just chipping. Very good tactical awareness right there from Doué, as Hakimi is just literally right in front of the box right there. So.
And James defending for Inter Milan, they split them wide open, didn't they? To be fair,
it's quite simple, Dermot. There was no defending.
Yeah, that's.
Are we watching Tottenham here? Are we watching Tottenham here?
It was, like I say, it was a beautiful ball by Vitinha to Desiree Doué, split into Milan wide open. Doué had time to turn. He had time to sit down, read a newspaper, have a cup of tea, take a 5-minute siesta, wake up, brush his teeth, and then pass the ball to Hakimi, who could have basically waited till Christmas to put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't think an Inter Milan player would have actually got there, but he just nice and strokes it home. Inter Milan need to wake up. Otherwise, this game is getting away from them very, very quickly.
The crazy thing was the fact that Inter Milan was just leaving numbers completely unmarked right in front of their goalkeeper. I've never. It's been a while since I've seen that. They had multiple options to score that goal right there.
Yeah, they are so good, PSG. I think they're a far better side now than they ever have been. I think since they got rid of Neymar and players like that, it's all about playing for each other, isn't it? And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, they're able to play freely. That's the problem with Neymar and Messi is they need touches in order for them to be happy, right? They're not the type of players that will necessarily work well in a team setting because they have to have their type of touches or they're going to be a disruption in the change room, right? And now that you get rid of those personalities, and now all of a sudden this team is better for it, and it has nothing to do with whether or not they're not talented. It was just now you don't have that distraction yet. Now you don't have to worry about them getting touches because the rest of them are able to fill in and actually play a lot cleaner football.
Yeah. I mean, James, what's Inzaghi there? I mean, Inzaghi looks at... I wouldn't want him as Tottenham manager. I'm just stating this now. I do not want Inzaghi as Spurs manager. I don't think it's a Tottenham fit. I don't think he would fit the players that are at Spurs. So for me, that's a no-no. I don't know what you guys think on Inzaghi at Spurs, but I wouldn't like him as Spurs manager. That's just my opinion. Xavi or Ange all day long.
I think with the Inzaghi, he would remind me too much of Conte Mourinho style.
Yeah.
Sit back, try and soak it up, and then sort of try and catch the team on the counter. Nick a goal, 1 or 2 throughout the game, and hope to God that your defence stays strong enough to retain the few goals that you're scoring. No, I mean, look, he's a top quality manager.
Yeah, for sure.
But for me, I'm in agreement. I would soon, if I had the choice of Xavi or Inzaghi, I would be leaning more towards Xavi or Ange than Inzaghi. He would be my third choice. Ange probably second choice, and Xavi first choice for me. So, but I mean, I'm just watching this, and Paris Saint-Germain are pressing Inter Milan.
Correct.
Back into. They're not even getting out of their 18-yard box, and Inter Milan, Paris Saint-Germain are press, and it's just a big ball loofed upfield, and then hopefully to be picked up.
Where is the final being played this year?
Munich.
I was being paid
it's,
to play Munich's ground.
Yeah, they're in the Allianz.
Yeah.
Yeah, the crazy thing though is it's like, you know, you have to respect the fact that a Serie A team was able to navigate the waters to get to a final. Now that being said, we're watching the talent discrepancy of the two clubs, right? You're looking at, you know, essentially, you know, Qatar money versus Italian money, which is night and day. But the reality is, I think James just hit it in the head, right? I don't think Inter was ready for the pressing of Paris Saint-Germain, and they're not just one or two players pressing, it's an entire commitment to get forward. And now Inter Milan has to figure this out. I will say that I do give Inzaghi credit for getting Inter Milan this far. But that being said, it's like, as of right now, you're going to have to figure out this riddle, and you're going to have to figure it out quick, or PSG is going to go up by 3 before the end of this half, and it's going to render this match completely mute. But that being said, I still give Inzaghi credit for getting him this far.
Yeah. Can I just say, do you know that thing on the Tottenham third kit that really annoys me? The Nike that they got terribly wrong. They've done
What's
it on
that?
the Inter Milan kit as well. They got it more looks like a tick than it does like a Nike. It's like a big circle.
Oh, I see.
They got it on the. I swear to God, the same fella did all the third shirts then for every team. Then he was that. He must have been worse from wear for the night before, because he's done it in every shirt. It drives me crazy. Can I not just do a normal Nike sign like?
Oh, they have the Nike swoosh inverted up and down. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's horrible. I hate that. The new kits are out the 3rd of June, by the way, Steve. I know I sort of half caught your show at 12 today. I do apologize for not coming on. No, I would have made no sense. I would have been a bambling baby. You would have been...
Yeah, I showed what it could be the home kit for Tottenham next year. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, but I still think that the all navy thirds are probably going to look pretty sweet.
The third kit is all yellow with the retro badge.
Oh, so is it the road kit that's going to be all navy? Is that what it is? Because I know there's a white one.
There's a white one and a black one and a yellow one.
Black one.
I think you sent me them, didn't you, a while ago, James?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a black one. Okay. So it's not navy, it's black. Okay. I got you.
Well, apparently we know on Wednesday. So we will be doing the show on Tuesday with the big reveal of the new Nike kits, and we will get everyone's thoughts on it.
Yellow. Ugh,
and of course,
I'm out.
Tottenham have always had yellow away kits, though, Steve. It's always been a feature in Tottenham's history. Like,
I can't say that I like it, but you know, for those that do, fair enough.
Yeah, you just think of the banana splits. I mean, that's when you think when you see the yellow kit, the banana splits just come to mind.
Yeah,
when I see the yellow one, it reminds me of the old Holston Pills and Hewlett Packard Hewlett Packard away kits. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Here's Peter. I just asked 2-0. 2-0 Milan, 2-0 PSG. They're just running away.
Just too easy. Just too easy.
I think my 4-0s might be on, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's about time. It's about time PSG did win this, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys remember.
After the money that they spent over the course of the last 10 years, all the near misses. Yeah, absolutely.
But does your mind go back to a certain Liverpool AC Milan 3-0 down at halftime? Liverpool come back 3-0 and win on penalties. It's never over till it's over.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but the question is does Inter Milan have that type of talent to erase a 3-goal halftime deficit?
No. Do you want to quickly talk us through the goals, Steve, and then we'll get James on the
yeah. Well, it was, essentially it was a 2-man rush going forward, and it looked like Dembele hit Doué off the left, the right hand side right there. And from my angle, it looked like it was a nice little deflection right there, past the goalkeeper. The question is whether or not if that deflection happened, does that ball get saved or does that go in? Clearly, it was a I believe they're going to call this an own goal as well too, because that deflection redirected it past the keeper right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, James. Again, are you criticising the Inter Milan defence again?
Yeah. They're not pushing up. They gave Desiree Doué far too much space. I mean, he's a young player full of young talent, and he can strike the ball so well. And you're giving him 15 yards to enable him to do that. You don't do that. That's just football 101. That is basics. And they gave him.
It starts without the mid press right there, because you're allowing Dembele just essentially run down the down the left side of your flank right there without stepping up and trying to get some misdirection right there, so he doesn't have that pass to Doué off the right. So allowing Dembele just to carve you up like that, there's just no sense of urgency.
No. It's woeful from Inter Milan, to be honest. For a Champions League final, yes, there is a gulf in the Qatari money or the quality that PSG have. Now, I don't know. I remember my playing days. If I knew we were up against probably the best team in the league, or the best team in the cup, we would just try and take our game up even to another level. You dig deep, you try and think, but at the moment, Inter Milan, they're still asleep. I know this has been played at 9 o'clock German time, but it's like they've gone home to bed. The defence is nowhere. There's so many gaps between their centre backs. And you'd then think, okay, so there's big gaps in the centre back, so they must be covering the wide space as well. But there's not. There seems to be no one there either. They're not pressing together. They're not moving together. Their back line is disjointed. I don't know. I don't know. Given sort of a performance like this, you beg the question of how did they get to the final?
I think them losing the league, I think they were going for the trouble, weren't they? They lost the league, they lost the Italian Cup. I wonder if it's all got to them and mentally they're just exhausted and down on the boots. Like
it would be. It is. Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
Steve.
but if you, I was like, all that might be true, Dermot, but this is still a final, and if you can't get up for a final,
I know, I get it.
You know what I mean? Like that, there may be something to it, but this is their last opportunity to win a trophy, and it's the biggest trophy in Europe, and it's like it almost seems like they came into this one a little unprepared.
Yeah. And Inzaghi's going absolute mental on touchline.
I mean, I'm just looking at this. I mean, I'm keeping a very close eye on Inter Milan's defensive line, best I can with the camera angles that we've got. And it's like it's like at the moment you've got the 3 centre backs pushing out, but you've got 2 wing backs, or you've got the wing back on the far side who's 5 yards behind his centre backs. So he's basically anybody running through the middle has got 10 yards on the centre backs because they can push straight through because there's the wing back keeping him onside.
Right, and you look at the channel right between both of the center backs right there, and you're absolutely right. There's just wide gaps for them just to exploit and run right through.
Yeah. I understand the managers that play the 3 at the back, like 3 centre backs and with 2 wing backs. I understand the tactical nuance of it and the benefits it can have. But if you've got a back line of a back 5 that are not in sync with each other, this is what you get, because you get centre backs being pulled out to cover wing backs because the wing back's too far upfield, which then leaves gaping voids in between your back line, which allows people to come straight through the middle. So but I understand that when it's done right, it can be a very, very defensively solid
Right.
Formation. And at the moment, this is not done right, unfortunately, for me. I mean, I might be just being hypercritical, but I just don't think it's been done right. And Inter Milan need to wake up.
Wake up.
And
big up to Jared. Said Dermo, looking at this BS, there's hope for us next season. Yeah, there is. That's true. He also, big bad Ron goes, massive deflection there in the old days. That's an own goal. And he goes on to say, PSG have been the best forward line this season. They're dynamite. Liverpool couldn't even cope with them. And that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's one of the that's why it always shocks me of how well Liverpool couldn't cope with PSG, but Aston Villa somehow found a way. Now, I think, and I mean this in no disrespect to Aston Villa fans or the Aston Villa team or anything like that, I think PSG underestimated them. I think that they thought Aston Villa would be overawed by the situation and the players, and they were just going to walk over them. And Aston Villa did what Inter Milan should be doing in this game, fighting for every inch of blade of grass that you cover. And they're not. And I think that's why Aston Villa seem to cope better with Paris Saint-Germain than most teams that they've come up against this season. And I think it's the he should have hit that. He should have hit that first time.
Hit that, yeah. I mean, look, it's offside anyway. Look, I just want to ask you to look, Steve. 3 European competitions, English clubs have won 2, possibly a French team's going to win 1. Do you think that's a true reflection of European football, that the Premier League is probably the best league in the world, but when it comes to Champions League, we just haven't got the right team to win the big one? But we got teams to win, like we won the Europa, Chelsea won the Conference League.
You know, that's the interesting thing, because on paper and when you look at the coefficient, it would tell you that the Premier League is the best league in the world just by the number of teams. I think there's going to be 6 in the Champions League next year.
Yeah.
And when you look at those numbers, it would probably tell you that would be the case, that they are the premier. But this isn't also just an English issue when it comes to the Champions League. I mean, when you consider that Bayern Munich and Bayern Leverkusen have the capability to get there, that's the crazy thing when it comes to knockout football. It's such a crapshoot, and sometimes the better team just doesn't win. And that's the beautiful part about knockout football, because that's just the true art form of football. Like when it came to it, the funny thing is, I remember when Arsenal was making their way to the semifinal, there was a time there where I actually thought Arsenal probably had what it take to get into the final. And I don't like saying it, but it was true. Like Arsenal, it just seemed everything was clicking for Arsenal in the Champions League, and yet they run into a team that just knows how to put the ball in the back of the net at the biggest times.
Yeah.
That understand how to take advantage of massive situations, and so unfortunately they were able to go out. I don't think that reflects the talent of the Premier League. I just think that is Champions League football at its finest.
Yeah. I mean, look, I still think the Premier League's the best league in the world. No question whatsoever.
I do too.
I just feel, you look at the French league, dominated by one team. You look at the Italian league, dominated by 2 or 3 teams. You look at the German league, dominated by one team. One team wins the league every year, bar last season. You look at the Spanish league, 2 to 3 teams probably dominate that every year. But
you could pretty much. Sorry, Dermo, go on.
It's the Premier League falling into the same trap, because you're guaranteed that Man City won it 4 years in a row. You're probably seeing Liverpool dominate now themselves for the next couple of years. They probably won the league next season at least. Or do you think the Premier League next season, Man City going to come back? Arsenal probably have another go. We might be up there in the mix. Man United might be up there in the mix. Chelsea could be there. Could next season be the most competitive Premier League season ever? when it comes to European places and league. I think it will be.
Right, and then you also
look.
You look at the sub teams like Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth and Fulham that are also knocking on the door of European competition as well too. So I think you might be right, but I also think that's also playing a big factor in the Champions League as well too. Is Premier League teams are absolutely kicking the shit out of each other throughout the course of the season, whether it be in the league phase or the cup phases and things like that. By the time they roll into the second half and they get into the knockout stages, they're already kind of battered a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. James, what do you reckon? Do you think we could be in probably for one of the all-time great seasons next year?
Yeah, I think. Look, we all know Man City dominated for years, and Man United went through their purple patch. But when you think about the times that teams have had real dominance, and apart from like the 4 years that Man City won it, but even in those 4 years, they were given a good run. Do you know what I mean? There were teams up and thereabouts. And then the Premier League has the chance to throw a few surprises in there, like the Leicester winning the Premiership. Back in the day, Blackburn winning the Premiership.
Right.
I think the Premiership is always going to be one of those leagues where you're going to have, like what we say, the big six. And then you're going to have the teams that make up the other, I would say, the next big six. And the big six and the next big six, so the sort of top 12 teams, I think it's all there now where you've got the ability for any one of those clubs to put a good run together. I mean, you look at Nottingham Forest this year, prime example. Tragic that they didn't qualify for the Champions League, but I think they'd have just been so overwhelmed in the Champions League, it would have been a pointless exercise for them other than a bit of money. But
yeah,
I think
you still get money for qualifying for the Conference League anyway. So I think
I think they've got. I think we've got a very good shout at going deep into that competition and giving themselves a really good account of themselves. But yeah, I mean, so you always have that ability for teams to be able to just make that little step, have a good season. I mean, I think the Nottingham Forest team that turns out next year, to the Nottingham Forest team that turned out this year is going to be vastly different because it's going to get picked apart by the so-called Big Six. And that is unfortunately is what happens in the Premier League is the teams that have been in the top six for so long, they've got money, they've got clout, and they know they've got pull. And
that's
the
why,
players
why I was going to say, and that's why I don't think we're going to see the outlier champions anymore. The Blackburn Rovers or the Leicester City, the 300-1 long shots. It's because we're in an era of PSR and because they don't draw revenue on the same level as the Big Six. Unless they want to gamble and just spend crazy money compared to their revenue and then take the points hit a couple of years down the road. The reality is they're not going to be able to spend at the same level as the Big Six. And still being able to sell players on and still generate the revenue. So I happen to tend to agree with you that because of the Big Six and their ability to draw revenue, those teams are more oftentimes than not are going to be consistently going to be battling in those top six spots as more oftentimes than not.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think if like a lower team gets either Qatari money or a businessman that's got billions, that's the only way they're going to compete within that top six of the Premier League. But look, you look at other leagues around Europe. Tonight we've got a French league and the Italian league. Both leagues are kind of broke, aren't they, financially? And you look at the Premier League awash with money. But which is the more enjoyable league? The Italian league or the French league that's kind of broke? or the Premier League that's awash for money. Where do you know what I'm getting at? Which is the more excitable probably league to watch? And I would you
Premier
have
League.
to say the Italian league.
Premier League.
I know. I say Premier League.
Premier League. Because even at the bottom, it's still exciting.
Yeah, but the problem is all the teams, like teams in Italy, are all sort of on the same page. No one team's in the Premier League. Man City have Qatari money, so all just headed wide there from Inter Milan, just wide of the post. But you look, I just feel in the Premier League it's just too. One team can have billions and then dominate like Man City did for 4 years. I just feel in other leagues, it's where it's a bit more of a level playing field. I think it's a bit more enjoyable, but maybe I'm wrong. But that's just my opinion. Like,
I know I can understand what you're saying there, Dermot, regarding like does it make it excitable? Does the thing that I completely see your point of view, and like the Italian league, and they are on a more of a level playing field. But I think when you really delve deep into the Italian leagues, there is probably 4, 5 teams, that truly have a chance of taking the Serie A title, and that's AC Milan, Inter Milan, Juventus, Napoli, Roma, Lazio. Sort of they've had their sort of bitter spell, and now they're just sort of on the rebuilding time again. But and then again, you have the other. I mean, think deeper into the Italian league of what teams there are and where they can be and who and have nots and whatnots, and it just let me just pull it up because I can find it.
Well, I also think that it's also worth mentioning that different countries have different PSR rules when it aligns to UEFA. And so it doesn't matter who the owner is, right? Because your ability to draw revenue is going to be dependent on the stadium in which you play in and the amount of money that you draw, right? So unless a new owner were to come in and build a massive football stadium where it doubles their revenue, which allowed them to spend at a higher level. I mean, that's the thing with the Premier League, right? It's like everybody understands that their TV deal is what is the reason why people want to invest. But that being said, it's like there's a reason why Nottingham Forest can't spend on a crazy high level. Is because their revenue comparable to the stadium in which they play and the money that they bring in. That's the reason why they're hamstring with why they can't spend on the same par as Manchester City. And that goes to the same thing with Spain, and it goes to the same thing with Italy. They have different PSR numbers that are comparable to the stadiums and the stadiums and the fans that they draw. And so, I think that's the biggest reason why there's a lot more evenly spread teams in Italy. It's because they're all playing under the same PSR rules, and most of those top teams are playing in stadiums that are relative to each other.
Yeah, and you've also got to think is you look at Inter Milan and AC Milan share a ground.
Yeah, share a ground.
Yeah.
So
a lot of them teams are broke as well in the Italian league, aren't they? To be fair.
Yeah. So I mean, you look at the. I mean, just going through like the sort of 20 teams. So the bottom from 11 down to 20th in the Italian league, you've got Torino, Udinese, Genoa, Verona, Cagliari, Parma, Lecce, Empoli, Venezia, and Monza. That's your bottom. That's your bottom half of your team of that league. And you've got Como, who are in 10th, but Como sort of have really kicked on.
They're playing above.
over
they're kind of punching above their weight this year. That's
Fabregas. But if you were to look at that table, you would say, they're your lower team. They're your lower tier Italian teams. They're the teams that might have a couple of years in the Serie A and then drop, and then have a bad season, drop back down to Serie B, and then the season after they'll come back up, and then they'll might kick around for a couple of years, and then they'll go again. Whereas when you look at the top 9 clubs in the Serie A this season, obviously Napoli winning it, Inter Milan, Atalanta, Juventus, Roma, Fiorentina, Lazio, AC Milan, and Bologna. And Bologna again have had an amazing season this year. But you've then taken Bologna out of the equation. The other 8 teams, you're going to look at them and say, yeah, they're the usual suspects. That's your top 8 every season without fail. Maybe occasionally one surprise. But you can pretty much guarantee that in any kind of order, that top 8 ain't changing.
No.
Right. And whereas I think in the Premier League, your top 8 changes every year. It changes every freaking month.
Yeah. Now, look, this is probably a good turn to bring it into another way, but the MLS, Steve, you're American, you got a league. What sort of, if somebody was to ask you how to describe the MLS league in one word, how would you describe it?
Easy. It's a closed league. There's no threat of relegation at all, because we don't have a proper pyramid, and because this league has been closed from the start. That the barrier to entry isn't promotion; it's money, right? So you're able to get in there, invest as much as you want or as little as you want, and there's going to be no penalty for doing so whatsoever. So that is the reason why owners love Major League Soccer, because there is no what's the word I'm looking for? There is no incentive to spend.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't spend it all and you finish in last place, that's fine. You're going to be there the very next year.
So basically, it's a Daniel Levy
wet dream. It's a wet dream.
Yeah,
it's a Daniel Levy wet dream.
Yeah. Daniel, if you're watching, there's some really good clubs in MLS you can go and buy with Enoch and Joe Lewis. I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms.
You see, I have a different one-word word for the MLS, and I understand what Steve means, because it is very much closed league, but I would say it's evolving. That's my one word for the MLS.
Sure.
Evolving.
Sure. I would agree with that.
Sure.
The Premier League's evolving as well. The Premier League is only it's a very young league compared. Like the MLS is a very young league.
Yeah, the MLS is only 30 years old, and of course it's always going to evolve, and the money was always going to get better. But that being said, because we have a restrictive salary cap, it's designed for parity. So every single year, every team is technically able to compete for a championship. So it makes it incredibly hard for repeat champions. So what Man City did would never happen in Major League Soccer. And there's a reason why Major League Soccer is hesitant of raising the salary cap, because they don't want it to be a 1 or 2, 3 team league like the Premier League. Because they, and this is something that's all across American sports. It's all the leagues want parity. They don't want repeat champions, because they think that it'll dilute the product. And I think there might be some truth to that. But that being said, it's like, you kind of want to see what some of these owners in Major League Soccer are made of, if they're just being able to, to essentially just write a blank check.
Yeah,
I know I do. I would love to see that, but it is what it is.
I know. Sorry, Dave. Go on. No, you're fine.
No,
I was going to say, I know. Up until a couple of years ago, you had the draft and everything like that, didn't you, Steve? In the MLS,
they got rid of it about 10 years ago.
Was it really that long ago?
Yeah, because it was when the academies came in. because for a long time, Major League Soccer didn't have academies, and so they were getting the bulk of their young talent from the college level. Because of the academy initiative, every team now has one, and so there is now a and because roster rules are geared to homegrown players, now there's an emphasis on developing your own homegrown talent, and it rendered college soccer completely useless.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I could only certain things. I very new to the MLS, and the bits of information that I seem to have gathered are out of date and probably wrong. But the contract situation that is, I know there's the salary cap, but you can use money from a general allocation fund to pay for part of somebody's wages to lower your salary cap, and then
So what it is there's tiers, right? And so it's a max of what you can pay. For instance, right, we have the DP rule, which means you can spend any amount of money on any player in the world if you want to bring them in, and that number does not count against your salary cap. Then you have target allocation money, which is the TAM level, which means you can pay anybody up to $1 million a year, and I think only half of that counts against your cap, and you're only allowed a certain amount of TAM level players. And then you have general allocation, which is essentially the rest of the league, and they can only make up to $100,000. And so, generally speaking, the most rosters players are being paid somewhere between $70,000 and $80,000 a year.
Yeah, guys, it is halftime. It is PSG.
And then there's the type of contracts that your clubs can have.
Well, I mean, they're standard, like 3-year contracts.
You're all right, Demo. Tell everybody it's halftime.
Yeah, it's halftime, guys. It's
but then there's the designated.
Yeah, the designated players.
We're lagging so badly somewhere along the line. Do you want to log back out and log back in, James? I don't know if it's me lagging.
Yeah, we really lagging.
Yeah.
I'll try jumping out because Steve seems to keep freezing and you do as well. So I'll try logging out and come back in.
Okay. All right. All right. They've all left me on my own now. Everyone's gone. Where's everyone? Hello, Steve's back in. Hello.
Yeah.
Right, Steve. Right. It is 2-0 to PSG. Steve, while James is sorting out his trying to log in, log back in. Your thoughts on the first half, just as predicted, isn't it?
Yeah. See, the thing about it is that I really was hoping that Inter Milan was going to be show a little bit more teeth, show a little bit more fight.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they spent the entire first half just on the back foot, couldn't get forward, just dealing with trying to break down PSG's press. Meanwhile, PSG was just committed to getting numbers forward. As a matter of fact, that their ability to press and create turnovers in Inter Milan's half, to me, was the story of the first half. They were putting quality shots on net, and at least towards the end of the first half, it looked like Inter Milan was doing at least a halfway decent job of getting in front of balls and trying to put blocks on it. But that being said, Paris Saint-Germain was doing a very good job of just peppering the net. That was towards the end of the first half. That was actually quite impressive by PSG.
Yeah. And you, James, look, and then into Milan point of view, I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see Inzaghi in that dress room. He is going to go absolutely ballistic. I mean, it's big up to Spurs size chat, big up to Tony. Do good over there. I think if I'm not on there this week, maybe you and Steve can pop up in my place this week to represent the channels. He says PSG are so good with a laughing emoji, crying emoji, because that's who Spurs are going to get in the Super Cup. So, do we bother turning up for that?
Absolutely. Of course we do. We turn up for everything. We turned up for 22 losses this season. We turned up for 22 losses this season. We could turn up for Paris Saint-Germain,
Sure.
I
No.
just very quickly on the 22 losses. Forget them. Forget them. We won the Europa League. We're European champions.
Well, you
Sorry,
can forget
Steve.
about him because the season's over. The 22 losses are irrelevant now. And I hate to say it, but if we're going down that route, all of the negativity is over as well too. And I'm just looking forward to the summer transfer window. To be honest with you, I'm looking forward to the Super Cup. I'm looking forward to 2025, 2026. I think it's going to be a good season.
Sorry, James. I do apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
I'm just
Don't worry
watching
about
Roy
me.
Keane on me on the monitor here, getting annoyed looking at the window cleaner, giving them the Roy Keane look.
Yeah,
dude, I love Roy Keane's take on why teams are why the same teams are getting relegated out of the Premier League. Dude, his answers are just they just need to do better. That was his reasoning. He's like, why do you think that these teams are continuously getting relegated? Well, because they just got to do better. Thanks, Roy.
I mean, ingenious, that guy.
And a massive Spurs fan as well.
He is kind of. He is in private, but put him in front of the camera and he's not.
I don't know when he was on CBS, I think, and Andrew was doing the interview. He did come out. He was a Spurs fan. He did come out and said it live on there. Just very quickly, guys. Match of the day. An end of an era. Gary Lineker leaving. They're supposed to be changing it next season. More tactical, more talk, less football. I don't know if you get match of the day in America, Steve. If you do get it over there.
We do not.
James, for you, that's grown up a match of the day. And really grown up. What do you think of the new format for match of the day next season? Are you in favor of it, or do you think why are they changing something that's always worked?
It's like age-old saying, isn't it? You don't fix what's not broken. I think with regards to match of the day, look, we all like a little bit of what's the word? Sort of analysis of a game. We like the analysis of the game, but we don't watch match of the day purely for the analysis.
No, we don't.
We watch match of the day to see the goals, to see the score, to see how his team plays, and rather than the analysis. So I don't understand why they're changing it. I don't think it'll work, and I think it'll give I think when viewers are turning off, certainly in an age where Sky Sports are now giving people free highlights after a game's finished. Now I think it's an hour after the game's finished. You can get brief highlights of the game.
Yeah.
I think match at day will slowly die if they keep it as it is. If they don't change and adapt.
That reminds me, I need to get the login details for the VPN over to you today, Steve. That reminded me, match of the day, so I'll do that today. Sorry, I haven't done it. Look, for me, match of the day, for me, they should leave it as it is. Look, if they're going to change the presenter, that's fine. Kelly Coates is coming from Sky, Kenny Dalglish's daughter, with Mark Chapman and another. What do you have in America that sort of rivals match of the day, Steve? Do you have anything like that in America that sort of match of the day type program? Or have you ever watched match of the day? Have you ever seen it?
No, I have never seen it, but I would probably, the way that it's described, I would probably assume that it's Monday Night Football, where it is it is a there's a segment that leads into the actual game where it is literally just highlights from the entire day. I would probably say that, but that's about, that seems like it would be the closest.
Yeah. We also got a big season next year, haven't we, guys? We've got World Cup next summer. Steve will be going to some of the games. It will be coming live from Ireland when Ireland are playing there. And of course, we're going to qualify. I suppose England will qualify because they normally do. How much are you guys looking forward to the World? And that's the question about, this brings me into FIFA and UEFA and their row. I always wondered, right, who's got the better tournament? UEFA or FIFA? I don't think
who's got the better tournament. Well, I'll tell you what. I think from a popularity standpoint in the United States, I think the popularity for the Euros is on the same par as the World Cup, because a lot of people get up for the Euros in the United States. Now, that being said, it's one thing to be a fan of the World Cup when it comes around every 4 years, but it's another thing to have it on your home soil. And I think this country is going to go batshit crazy for the World Cup when it's here in the United States. But that being said, I still think that in the United, I can't speak for other portions of the world, but in the United States, I think that the Euros is far more popular than the Copa America, and I think it's on par with the World Cup here in the States, at least.
Wow. England, will they get there, James? Do you think England will get to the World Cup?
Oh, we'll get there. We just won't do anything once we get there again.
Oh yeah, they'll qualify. They'll qualify. The question is, can England? Steve? I was going to say that England will get there. The question is, are they capable of making deep runs like they've been making? Can they get to a final of a World Cup? Can they, or at least get to a semi? That's the question, right?
I would love us to get to a tournament. We just don't get to any. But I just love to get to one tour. And the one tournament we're hosting, we have to qualify for that as well. So we're not going to get any
rule change.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I love James's facial reaction when I'm moaning about my team qualifying for a World Cup. And he's going, yeah, but we qualify every tournament. I like that.
How close
it's so funny.
How close is Ireland from qualifying?
We're as close as qualifying then as Wrexham are to win in the Premier League.
So you're saying that you still have a chance. I gotcha. So let
me put it this way, Steve, right? Sorry, James, I'm going to say this. Ireland have more chance of qualifying for a World Cup of European Champions than Steve becoming the next Prime Minister.
Yeah.
So again, you're saying that there's a chance that I'm about to be Prime Minister. I
don't know where he's getting this as a chance business. We haven't got hope in hell.
I remember World Cup '94 because Ireland qualified for the World Cup in '94 on American soil. When was the last? Was that the last time Ireland qualified? '94.
No, we qualified for 2002 in Japan and Korea. Okay. That's when Roy Keane had his row with Mick McCarthy and walked out on the team.
Fair enough.
Years later, it's proved Roy Keane was right in what he did to walk out on. You don't walk out your country, but I think Ireland would have actually got to a semi-final if Roy Keane was playing in that Ireland side, because we should have beaten Spain. We lost to Spain, but we should have beaten Spain.
You didn't get to 2006, did you? You didn't.
No. We got to the 2016 European Championships with the Italian. We had what was his name? The Italian manager was in charge of us. It starts with a T.
I think Wales has a better shot at qualifying than Ireland.
Yeah. But mind you, Irish soccer, though, I will say Irish soccer has taken such an uplift in attendances over the last 3 seasons. The attendances have gone through the roof in Irish soccer.
But that's the thing is when I look at the Irish national team, I see some ballers though. Ireland actually has some pretty decent players. I actually think Ireland has better players than Scotland right now.
Yeah, and if you look at the league in itself, our teams are doing well in Europe as well. So we as a nation, we're getting there. But see, soccer in Ireland's never going to compete against GAA, which is Gaelic football or hurling or rugby. Soccer's always going to be third. Where I think it's the same in the US as well, behind American football and Major League Baseball or Major League or basketball. Where in England, James, you could say that soccer's football or soccer's the number one sport in the UK, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Rugby union, probably a close second. Rugby union, rugby league are a sort of second, third. You see, the problem with cricket is, certainly in England, is that it's exactly the same as tennis.
It's boring.
Now I understand that I understand that tennis is a worldwide sport, and I'm just going to choose to ignore that comment because, I'm not going there. But you're not wrong.
It's boring. Cricket is
as somebody that grew up with baseball, I don't understand cricket at all.
No, cricket. Listen, unless you are a cricket fan, Steve, nobody understands cricket. I mean, we gave cricket to the world, and we still fuck it up.
Can I just say the teams are now coming back out into it was Trapattoni. That was how PSG are 45 minutes away from winning the Champions. I was about to say the Conference League, the Champions League. It shows how actually still tired and sleepy and hungry I am. But there you go. But Inter Milan are out. PSG are out. James, very quickly. PSG, have they got this all written up, or can you see Inter Milan coming back into this?
I'll see. I can. I'll tell you how I see this going. I can see it's going to go one of two ways. Either PSG are going to score the third, then Inter Milan will score, or Inter Milan will score, think that we're in with a shout, and then PSG will score. But it's going to be 3-1. I'm telling you, 3-1.
And you, Steve,
I'm going to say that Inter is going.
Sorry, what are you saying, James? Sorry, Steve.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You're good.
I'm going to say that Inter is going to have the half of their lifetime, and they're going to score 2. This thing is going to be tied. It's going to go into extra time before PSG wins it in extra time.
You just want penalties. That's all you want. You just want penalties. You do. Just a minute. You want penalties.
No, I don't want penalties because I actually don't like penalties. I hate that. I hate the idea that a team loses in penalties the way they do. But in extra time, PSG will get that goal in extra time before we get there.
Yeah, I just think you want penalties. I think James will agree. Right?
No,
doesn't he?
I don't like penalties at all.
What do you reckon, James? What do you reckon?
You're not bringing me into this one. I am Switzerland right now.
We're a neutral country as well, by the way. Just to put it out there.
I hate penalties, man. I hate them.
No, I think penalties is
okay. Then
I think penalties is such a cruel way to end a tournament.
Right then,
right?
Okay,
I
then.
do too.
You two are the lawmakers. You're sitting in a back room somewhere in Switzerland where nobody can see you. You can do what you want. You can make any rule up you want. How do you end games to draws? How do you come up with the solution then?
Golden goal.
Yeah, golden goal.
Golden goal. Game
Didn't
ends.
We do that.
First team to score. That's it. You don't continue on playing. I
would give the standard extra time, and then if it's still tied at the end of extra time, then its next goal wins.
If it goes into extra time, here's the thing, right? So you can have 10 minutes of extra time, But that being said,
Yeah.
if it goes into extra time, even if it's 45 seconds into that extra time, if somebody goes on the attack and pops one in, it's over. It's over. Golden goal.
James, is that a rumor that you've got? What you put into the news thing? Is that a rumor?
Yeah.
Well,
It's just
a rumor.
It's just been literally. I've been like I say, I've been putting my feelers out all day, trying to get some information, things like that. I posted one or two things regarding Xavi Simons, Leroy Sane, and this latest one, Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah. Well, guys, tomorrow at 8, we are doing I Want More. It is the beginning of transfer load. I know Steve can't join us, but me and James will be going there live.
I'll send it to you, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to go over all this news. I'm sure we're going to have lots of news in the morning. And we're gonna have a good talk. I want more. That's the name of the show. We want more. Steve wants more. Everyone wants
I
more.
want more.
Do you? More what?
I don't know, but I want more of something. I just can't put my finger on what I want.
It's typical, man. It's typical, man. Typical, man.
Yeah, typical.
Man. We all want more, but we don't know what more we want.
I know
2 seconds, guys.
I know exactly what I want. I just don't necessarily think that it would be appropriate to say that on this show, but I want some more of something.
Well, I'm just thinking of the Queen song in my head. I want it all. That's what just comes into my head. It is a free kick to oh, is that a penalty? No, it's not. No, it's not. No. It's not been the best game, has it, in the world, to be fair, has it? It's been quite
It's not captivated me.
No, it's
to be fair, all of the European finals this season have been pretty poor as pairs.
Do you know what? I was just about to say that.
Our game against Man United. This game, it's
no, James, the Tottenham Manchester United game was the best game of the season. I mean, that was just fantastic. I mean, it was a fantastic spectacle. Everything about the game was just, it's a night I'll never forget. To be fair, the game was horrible. It was a shit final. Though I thought the Chelsea game was quite good. Second half. But no, this game's, I mean, Steve, for a flagship final, it is quite poor. The European finals have been poor this year, haven't they? All three of them.
Well, I would say that from a PSG standpoint, they had a very good first half. I mean, from a talent standpoint, it's not even. So from that standpoint, if you're an Inter Milan fan, I know it has been very poor. But from the standpoint of goals scored, PSG has given you pretty much everything that you would hope for. So it was certainly better than. It was certainly better than the Europa League final, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. Do you reckon the nerves might get to PSG a little bit as the match goes on?
Ooh, good question. It depends, right? If Inter Milan score within the next 5-10 minutes, maybe. But they're holding on to a 2-goal lead, and they're still looking somewhat goal dangerous as we speak. So, I would say if Inter scores, sure, but right now they're in the driver's seat.
Look, this is sort of not a proper watch along, but it's more of a watch. It's more of a relaxed watch along with football talk. There, FIFA and UEFA, they're rowing at the moment. Like two little school kids in the schoolyard over a 50p comic. What do you make of it, Steve? I know James gave you a great analogy what he thought of it earlier, which we cannot say live on air. But I do agree with it. Pardon?
I can talk about it on air. It's just I have to be careful with my wording.
That's it. That was the point I was trying to get across. What do you reckon to it, Steve? Do you reckon there's a power struggle in football at the moment?
I think there are two governing bodies that want to make as much money as they can by exploiting the players as much as they can. The funny thing is, like, commercial appeal, commercial access, it's all international football to begin with anyways, right? So
yeah,
I would think that UEFA, because they have the Euros and they have essentially every single European competition, I think they stand at a more reasonable position when it comes to revenue, because on top of the Euros, they also have the Champions League, they have the Conference League, they have the Europa League as well too. So there's many different avenues that they can go down in order to ensure that there's a certain amount of games on their schedule that they get paid, versus FIFA. And FIFA wanted to make the World Cup every 2 years because of it, right? The only thing FIFA has is the World Cup, and that comes but only once every 4 years. So it's only once every 4 years they have an ability to make X amount of money, which is probably why they would probably want to do the World Cup once every other year, just to kind of stay pace with the revenue that UEFA drives.
Yeah, that's true. I've just worked out, right, we're watching this in 3 different time zones.
Oh yeah.
Do you know I'm in I think me and James are on the same time zone, but different countries, but 3 different countries. Do you know what I mean? It's quite remarkable that
you guys are on GMT, right?
Yeah. But isn't it remarkable how, like, when we were kids, this was only a pipe dream that we could do this, and then suddenly, do you know? It's amazing. I think James is building his time machine in the background. I reckon that's what he's up to.
I think he's making. I think James is making Pop-Tarts. That's what it sounds like.
No. I was. I'll be honest with you. I needed to nip to the toilet, and while I was at the toilet, I should have done it at halftime, but I didn't. I actually nipped and had a quick smoke. That's how bored I am of this game already. It's like I knew I'd not miss anything.
Well, don't worry. You got the MLS. You got the MLS after this, guys. You do have Steve's MLS show, where
that
James
should be wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
Joined by Steve and James. Dermatron will be then fast asleep by then because I will sleep tonight. But I've got the Grand Prix to watch tomorrow, which I'm absolutely can't wait. And Steve's now popped off. I don't know where he's gone. I'm looking forward to the Grand Prix tomorrow. Can I just say very quickly, any games out there, F125 is out. Get it. It's the best Formula One game they've made in years. I would highly recommend it.
It's just advertising that TNT Sports have actually got the rights for the Charity Shield match, or Community Shield as it's now called. 10th of August, Community Shield. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace.
Wow. Crystal Palace will win that 3-0.
Look, with regards to the FIFA and UEFA, look, it's I thought about the words I would use, and it is basically a contest between 2 of football's governing bodies to find out who has the biggest clout. That is what this power struggle between FIFA and UEFA
compared to what you told me earlier. That is very well put, but that is near to what you said earlier. But you've just changed these like the words, so well done, you.
Yeah, I thought about it. Oh, we're going to VAR here.
What's happening here? What's referee? I like that on the back of the shirt. Oh, Inzaghi, he's getting booked.
Yeah.
Yellow card to Inzaghi. twice.
Yeah,
He said
yellow
you'd
card.
be off. Yeah. Oh, he's lost the plot completely. Look at him. Oh God, he
is angry.
Yeah.
He is very angry. But I think he believes that PSG are trying to cheat the way to this trophy. But I just think it's been a good game regards to. I think the refed it really well in that respect.
Now, what he's doing now, he was doing this, right? What he was doing now was, it was a new dance routine he's just brought up in Zaggy. It's called How to Pass the Trophy to the Next Man Down the Line. And that's how you do it. So, yeah.
Pass the trophy to the left-hand side.
That's funny.
That was a cracking song back in the day, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
It was, Steve. We all loved it. We all loved it.
It was if you were doing some passing yourself. If you were sat in a circle with your buddies and you were doing some passing yourself, it was a brilliant song.
Right, a question to you guys, right?
That song was so annoying.
Yeah, but you loved it.
Yeah, but it was that annoying, Steve. It got in your head, and you would be walking around all day singing it inside your head, if not out loud at times. You know that was happening.
Do you know what my jam was? I'll tell you what my '80s jam was. There was a group called the Human League. You remember the Human League?
Yeah.
I worked as a waitress at a cocktail bar. That much is true. That was my jam.
Wow.
Anyone that's actually tuning in, expecting a watch along, I'm sorry, this is now turned into a sing along.
Don't you want me?
This is Steve trying to get a record contract to become the next Bruce Springsteen of the YouTube world.
Yeah, I am not born to run. Not in that manner.
But you really were born in the USA.
I was.
Born in the USA.
See,
I got that one.
By the way, that was my least favorite Bruce Springsteen song of all time.
Yeah. Hello, we've got a player down for Inter Milan.
Looks like Bissa. I think because he's sort of gone to cross the ball. I think because he's sort of he's tweaked or pulled something. He's holding his hamstring.
It is.
So,
if people were expecting a high quality professional watch along like we normally do, we're sorry we're disappointed you. It's the end of the season. We're tired, and we decided just to make this a party of talking about everything.
We just missed it.
See, we got all the sounds in the background, Steve. Here's man.
There's Hakimi again. This time it gets deflected out wide. Man, again. PSG.
Oh, look at that! Look at that back heel. Oh, that's just something else.
19 years old, that kid. 19. We say generational talents, and that term gets branded around. Oh, he's a generational talent. He's a generational talent. I just think that footballers nowadays, like certainly the young talent, your Mikey Moores, your Desiree Doués, your Lamine Yamal. Yes, they are. Yeah. So yes, they are generational, but can you consider it generational when there's so many of the same age and a little bit old? Like Mikey Moore, who's just turned 18. You mean Lamine Yamal? I could get my bloody teeth in. Lamine Yamal is just turning 17. You've got Desiree Doué, who's just turned, he's 19 and a half or something like that. is it generational, or is it just a progression that we're seeing in footballers and the quality of footballers and what it takes to take that step to a top tier team?
I
Because
think
I think the training, because you can't tell me that these players, 13, 12, 11, however young they are when they're first getting picked up by these. I mean,
sorry, James. Sorry, here's here's PSG. Are they going to make it 3? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, they have. It is 3. Do you know? Sorry, but do you realize Inter Milan, right, have not even had a shot on target in this whole final?
Yeah.
James, I don't know who saw that goal first. I don't know where, but I'll go to James first with the defending, then Steve, I'll go to you then with how the goal was called. So defense-wise, James, all over the place.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse defending. I mean, Desiree Doué does exceptionally well. Just breached the Inter Milan defence like a whale coming out of the ocean. Just absolutely tore them to pieces. And it was just pure skill from start to finish. The back sort of step over back pass to I can't remember who it was. Dembele.
Dembele put on the flick, right? The teammate picks it up, moves across, and then just delivers an absolute dime to Doué as he was essentially running into the channels. And again, it's the lack of awareness and marking from AC Milan right there to allow Doué just to run free into the box.
Yeah.
Big up to the bosses in the house, the Full-Time Sports Network Colin. Big up Colin, the bosses in the house. He says this PSG team works through so many. We got to play them. I'm now genuinely terrified of this team. I am.
Christian Romero, Mikey Van de Ven, they know the assignment.
Well, who knows, Christian? Who knows if Romero will still be here by then?
He'll be here.
Romero will be there. I've just got this feeling that, and some of his comments that he's come out with recently, that we're all in this together. We've got to stick together. This is the first step. We, and you don't say that if your mind's gone to another club. And like I say, all this chatter around Atletico Madrid buying Romero. Let's look at this brutally honestly. What chance has Romero, or what more of a chance has Romero got of winning major silverware with Atletico Madrid that he doesn't have with Spurs?
I think he's got more of a chance with Spurs than he does with Atletico Madrid.
But also,
one thing you guaranteed, just very quickly, sorry, Steve, just very quickly, sorry. The only thing he's guaranteed with Atletico Madrid is Champions League football. That's all he's guaranteed.
Right. Because they're not winning La Liga anytime soon. But here's the other thing, though. Spain's PSR is far more stricter than any other nation in UEFA. And Atletico Madrid, in order for them to get Christian Romero, they're going to have to sell players. So even if Christian Romero leaves, he's going to a weaker Atletico side than he would if he stayed at Tottenham Hotspur. But that being said, he also wants to stay at Tottenham Hotspur. That's the thing that nobody really wants to talk about. Most are just assuming he's going to leave the door. But that being said, he wants to stay. He would like to sign it. The only hang up is he wants an extension because he's only got 2 years left on his deal. So
he wants more money. He wants more money.
So if Spurs do right by him by showing him the respect that he's absolutely earned, he's going to stay. He's going to stay.
It comes back to that saying, doesn't it? Money talks, BS walks.
That's exactly right. Although players will use the term respect, they throw the word "I just want to be respected," and that's code for "I want to be paid."
Column says, okay, what's he guaranteed at Spurs? He's guaranteed a cockerel. He's guaranteed what else is he guaranteed? He's guaranteed
Well, he just won a trophy, so
yeah, he's just guaranteed that. You're not never guaranteed to win a trophy, but you're guaranteed to be there and thereabouts. I just think he's more guaranteed to be in the winning side than he is in Atletico Madrid.
If he goes to Real Madrid, then yes, he is guaranteed a lot of trophies. But Atletico Madrid, the redheaded stepchild of Madrid, I don't know.
I think Atletico, like, okay, La Liga. We've all agreed that the Premier League is probably the best club football league in the world, and Atletico Madrid and Spurs, I see it as a sideward step. He's not moving up. He's not going to a bigger club. I think it's a sideways step. Yeah. And apart from this season, and well, okay, maybe not just this season. We've had a few blips this season, but I think a few blips over the course of the last 5 years. But we're always up there. Oh, here come PSG again. This could be 4. Oh, that's so unlucky.
I did say 4-0, so my prediction could be coming right again. You know, just call me the chosen one, lads. Just call me the chosen one.
I don't think I need to give my head a wobble, but
I'm giving my head a wobble. I'm giving my head a
wobble as well. Yeah.
See, Steve's the only one that's not giving his head a wobble. Give your head a wobble, Steve. Go on, join in the fun.
Well, the last time Atletico Madrid won the La Liga title was in 2013-14, and prior to that was 1996. So they don't necessarily win the La Liga titles often. Now, that's not to say that they don't, because clearly they have in the last 15 years. So there is that. And so maybe they have a better outside shot at winning the Supercopa down there. Yeah, maybe. But that being said, though, if he stays at Tottenham Hotspur and they actually do right by whoever the new manager is, whether it's Ange Postecoglou or whoever, and they build off the core that they currently have, Tottenham also has an equal shot at winning domestic cups as well too.
He says Spanish champions 2021. Ooh.
I have it right here. When's the last time that Atletico won La Liga? Which was 2013, 2014.
There's 2 Atleticos, isn't there? There's
There's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
There's
Madrid.
Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Yeah. Did Real Madrid win it in 2021?
I don't know. Look, I like Spanish football. I think it's a bit more exciting. But look, I think there's 3 teams. If Real Madrid and Barcelona are not there,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm just
okay. Yeah,
so. So the last time
he's right.
It was the Copa del Rey.
He's right.
For Athletic. So you look at that. So they won the league in 2020, 2021.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colin was right. It was their first league title since 2013-14, and then they won the Copa del Rey 10 times, including 2012, 2013. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you're looking at that. You're looking at you've got for 2012, 2013 is the Copa del Rey, and then they're not winning another trophy for 10 years nearly.
But they are in the Club World. They're in the Club World Cup, though, aren't they? Because they won the UEFA Super Cup in 2018-19.
Yeah, 4-0. Kravitz
Told you. I need to go and put bets on these score lines. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Are you pleased? I'm pleased for PSG. I'm actually really pleased for them.
It's just it's a massive gap in talent between the two sides.
Do you feel for football it's a good thing PSG have won this?
Yeah, because it shows that you can buy yourself the Champions League.
Yeah, I will say that it's good for PSG. You know what I mean? I would.
I'm just looking for my wallet. Sorry, I'm just looking for my wallet.
I've
So
turned
can I
the
buy the
camera off.
Champions League?
Is it good for football? Yes, because it's not a Spanish team that's winning it,
Or an Italian team,
or a German side that's winning it, which seems to be the common denominator when it comes to the Champions League. So at least there's going to be a different country winning for the first time in quite a while. That being said, I guess you can say that's good for football, but you look at the team that won it, and the only thing that screams is that Qatar just bought themselves a Champions League.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the last French side to win the Champions League, and Marseille's sort of screaming at me. Yeah, Colin says UEFA Super Cup 17-18. Yeah, they did. Spanish Super Cup. To be fair, they do win things regularly. Yep. Tottenham, but it
was Keith Marseille in 1993.
Yeah,
Marseille in 1993.
Yeah, I thought they did, but then I think they got it stripped then because of I think they got bribery. Look, we haven't won a trophy since 2008. We won our first major trophy. Still buzzing. Still can't believe it, but we did.
It's not your team.
Exactly. I agree with that one 100%. Whatever he said, he's spot on.
Did he say he wants ice cream?
I don't know what he said, but whatever he says, I'm agreeing with him.
He did get ice. He has got an ice cream. No, he said it's not our team. So
yeah,
good save. I've just been looking. I've been looking back through sort of the last bit of the French champions. So going over since 2012-2013 season. So the last 12 years, Paris Saint-Germain have won it every time, barring 2 times. Monaco in 2016-17 and Lille in 2020-2021. And in both of those seasons, Paris Saint-Germain have come second. And
can I just say, sorry, go on, Steve. I've just seen what Tequila's put in the chat.
Oh, it's great. It's great. And I don't think he's wrong.
Oh, Lord God.
Yeah, he said, there you go. PSG finally did what they wanted to do all these years. Now they can fall off the cliff. Like the small club they are. Sorry, not sorry, but PSG has ruined the French league. They ruined the French league. It's a worse version of the Scottish league.
You leave the Scottish league alone. There's nothing wrong with the Scottish league.
But he's not wrong.
No, he is wrong because the Scottish league is
no.
League.
I'm not talking about the Scottish league being worse than the French league. What I'm saying is he's not wrong in what he's saying about PSG being a small club.
No,
because until they got the Qatari money came in, because
they were a small club.
They were a small club. They were, and it's only that before PSR really kicked in, and financial fair play and all that started to really take its stamp into the game. But they can't do it anymore, and the Qatari owners of PSG for the last year and a half have been rumored to be in a lot of discontent with France.
And the city of Paris, because the city of Paris won't sell them the Parc des Princes, and because the French league does not draw the type of television revenue of the Premier League. They're constantly spending more money than they're actually bringing in.
Yeah.
So can I officially say now that we hope then that this is what I'm gaining from this conversation, right? Just make sure I'm right on this. We're hoping PSG go bust between now and the Super League, that the Qataris now leave and they go back to being a small club, and that we have more of a chance to beat PSG if that happens. Is that what your lads really saying? Am I getting that right? Do
you think they're going to do that in the summer? That would be one hell of a summer for PSG.
I would love it to happen. It'd give us one hell of a chance to win the Super Cup. Because I think
I think we've got a chance. I think we've got a chance. You know, I think what will happen is it'll remind me of the Aston Villa game. They will come into the UEFA Super Cup completely underestimating Tottenham, and I mean that's absolutely amazing hustle by Kvaratskhelia there to come back.
Yeah, I have to say I do agree with Tequila. PSG are Chelsea in disguise, and Chelsea are a small club.
Yeah, right. They're the. That's funny.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you watched Simon Jordan the other week. I don't know if it's Simon Jordan or whoever. Somebody was talking about. I either that or was that idiot Jason Conde, who really should be banned from the radio airwaves because he talks more crap than a UK politician. Or a politician in general, that Chelsea are a massive club. No. Now, I think your big clubs in England...
Chelsea are a club with massive debts.
Yeah. I think the biggest clubs in the English Premier League are Manchester United, Tottenham, Liverpool,
City.
No, Man City are a small club. They're not a big club.
They're a big club now.
Man City are a small club with big financial problems.
They're like Qataris. They're like PSG with Qatari money. But if you look at the clubs, right, Manchester United, they're a big club with no Qatari investment. They were successful. Everton's
Manchester United are not a big club. Manchester United are not a big club.
But
they used to be a big club.
No,
used to be a big club. They're now on a downward spiral.
Yeah, if you look at success, if you look at the overall, the top 6, I think, or top 7 big clubs are Manchester United, Liverpool, Everton. They're a big club in the 80s. Newcastle. It's another one. It's 5.
No, it's not. I was in Misfat. I was back all the Misfat.
So, who would we've got kids in Newcastle are also a big club. I lived in Sunderland for a year, Dermo, at university. Newcastle are a massive club. Is it because Newcastle have their stadium right in the middle of the city centre? And Newcastle are a big club, to be fair.
Yeah,
what makes a big club then? If a question, what makes a big club?
I would say your history factors into it, but also your current situation right now. Are you as far as revenue drivers, are you in the top 20 in revenue globally?
So
because if Tottenham didn't build the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and they were still at White Hart Lane, they're not in the same categories they are today.
But they're a big club because of their history.
That would be the only thing that you could describe them, because you're right, they did win trophies back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, yeah, for sure,
and 80s, yeah, and
80s.
90s. So See, I don't class Man City and Chelsea as big clubs because they were bought over by billionaires. I mean,
well, they were shit until they were absolute shit until Roman Abramovich stepped in to buy Chelsea. They were just a literally just a mid-table team that hadn't won shit in forever. That's my problem with Newcastle. It's like, yes, Newcastle has a very big fan base, and credit to Newcastle. But that being said, they just won their first trophy in 50 some odd years.
yeah, no, I've got a soft spot for Newcastle. I always have done. I've always had a soft spot for Newcastle.
Sunderland.
Oh well, you and me are not going to be talking next. That
Oh,
we're going to
really,
definitely do
lads?
that watch along next season. That's going to be an
Sunderland.
interesting one. Oh,
Sunderland till I die.
the Tequila says the club is the city. It's hard to, and it is. Newcastle is the team. Is Newcastle, isn't it? Tequila does make a good point there. Liverpool, Everton as well, Merseyside clubs. You know, they're two big clubs.
Liverpool is a massive club. But that being said, it's like, you know, if we're basing it off of history, tradition, and then also currently your ability to draw revenue and your global footprint, you can't necessarily say Newcastle because they don't have the history or the current global footprint. Whereas, you can say Man City, where historically Man City was decent, not great, but now you look at their global footprint, you have to consider them a big club.
Yeah, and that's the other thing with this Manchester City thing. What do you think the outcome that's going to be? Do you think that's going to drop sometime in the summer? Does it have to drop in the summer? And I'll start with James on this, Steve. Then I go down to you. Give you time to think. But Steve, James, does it have to drop in the summer before the fixtures are put out? Before the fixtures are, do they? Or do the Premier League think, do you know what, we can sit in this as long as we want? And or do you think what do you think's the hold up?
There is I think the hold up is there's so many damn charges.
Yeah.
At last count, there were 300 and something separate charges for breaching of financial rules and regulations. And just when I think the Premier League getting to grips and a handle on what they're putting together, something else crops up, and then it then becomes okay. So now we've got to factor into this, and we've got to factor into that. And I think, in certain respects, Man City have been very clever by it because because at one point it was okay. It was you need to release your finances by this date. So it gets to that date, and on the day before that date, Manchester City asked for an extension, and the Premier League give them an extension. They then reach that thingy, and then they delay, and then the Premier League then have to go to court to force Manchester City to release their financial statements.
Well, didn't UEFA do that?
Yeah, UEFA did it as well with the FA. It's all combined. But then they do that, and Manchester City are not going to then go, okay, well, fair enough. And
oh my good Lord! Oh my God!
It's over.
I don't know if it's a demolition or what we've just witnessed tonight. What have we just witnessed?
It's a demolition. It's 5-0. I wish I was in a final.
I mean, I know I'm delusional, and usually I go for 4 or 5-0, but not even in my wildest imagination would I think PSG will rip into Milan 5-0.
Yeah, see, and Tequila here brings up the point that I was going to make. It's like Man City can lawyer up and out-lawyer the FA to the point where they can actually make this a war of attrition. They can slow this thing down to a crawl. But my biggest thing is this isn't an English issue, because when you look at the trade agreements between the Saudi government and the English government, and the import and export that comes in to England from Saudi Arabia is worth billions of dollars to the English government, and also the money that Manchester City brings in as well to the not only to the FA but to the English government. The last thing that they want to do is heavily sanction Man City and potentially put them behind the 8 ball where they lose that type of revenue in their international trade agreements. And that's why I actually think that there is going to be a situation where there might just be a slap on the wrist. Maybe it's a points deduction at the end of it. I can't imagine there's going to be a relegation involved. You know what I mean? But like maybe.
Well, do you think there might be points? Do you think there might be points
like,
deductions where they will be relegated by the points deductions?
Well, I think the last point deduction was Nottingham Forest, right? When they breached PSR, and I think it was only a 4-point deduction.
Yeah, but that was very minor compared to what?
Maybe it might be a 10-point deduction. But that being said, I like a big part of me thinks that Man City's going to get slapped on the wrist here. Because I mean, if you just
hang on, I just want to get this right, Steve. Hang on, James. Sorry, you think it just will be just a one-off 10-point deduction? Is that right?
The biggest thing though is all right. So I do. I think it might go up to 20. But that being said, I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to hamper. I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to hamper Manchester City to the point where where relegation is going to come into play. I can't see a situation where England is going to allow a cash cow like Manchester City to be relegated out of the Premier League. I just cannot see it. Maybe they'll put them on a trophy ban for a couple of years, where even if they win it, they can't claim the trophy.
Transfer embargo.
Yeah, or maybe a transfer embargo. I think it could be a points thing and a transfer embargo. But that being said, like I seriously cannot see them ever allowing Man City to be relegated out of the Premier League.
Wow.
Too much money is at stake, man, and money is what makes the whole thing work.
Yeah, I agree with what Steve's saying.
Then are you saying then the Premier League is scared of Man City and scared of? Sorry, my camera's going a bit whale, so I'll just take the camera off.
I think what it is that the Premier League and the English government and the FA recognize that Man City is such a cash cow that they do not want to disrupt that in any way, shape, or form. That's all I'm saying. And it also sends a message to Fulham, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest that when it comes to breaking PSR rules, it applies to you, but when it comes to bigger clubs, it doesn't apply to them.
Can I just say the game has ended?
Tequila, I think Tequila's got it exactly right, and this was my thought that. The Premier League will buckle, they won't want their brand, and they will hide it under a rug. Absolutely, they will. I'll tell you what'll happen, Dermo, and I'm a firm believer this is what was going to happen, because if Manchester, if the Premier League, the FA, UEFA really were going to actually throw the book at Manchester City, it would have been done by now.
Yeah,
correct.
I agree.
I think what'll happen is about 5 years down the line, when it means absolutely nothing to nobody, they'll turn around and say, "No." They'll turn around and say, "Well, you cheated your way to these titles, so we're going to strip you of the titles, and we'll give them to the second place."
Did they do that to Juventus?
The history books will show that it wasn't actually you that won the title; it was these. But 15 years down the line, when it means nothing, it means nothing to the fans. It means nothing to anything or anybody.
They'll wait till Pep Guardiola's done at Man City before any sanctions come down. And I still don't think they strip them. I still don't think they strip their titles. I think it's going to be something like maybe something up to a 20-point deduction or a transfer embargo for 3 or 4 years or whatever the case may be. It's going to be something minor.
Yeah, just to let people know, the game has now finished. My camera went on the blink, so I do apologise. PSG have won the Europa League
Champions
by
League.
Champions League by 5-0.
Dude, that's
Guys. Listen, I think we should take this into a podcast, Premier League podcast. The three of us talking about the Premier League as a whole. I think there's a podcast there for next season. The three of us just talking football in general. I really do. So maybe that's something we could talk about behind the scenes to get that going. But I think that I really enjoyed this watch along tonight. I think it's been a good one. We've talked a lot of football, which is what we all love talking about, isn't it? Really, at the end of the day, we are Spurs fans, yes, and we're there in this Spurs watch along. We're invested in that watch along, but deep down, we just love talking about football. I think we should do a podcast. I really do. The three of us should do a podcast, just general football podcast on the world of football, because I think we all have a lot. We all have a lot to say in the game we love, but we are going to end it there. Steve.
I was going to ask you guys one last question before we go.
Okay.
Who did you guys have as your relegation in the Premier League? Who were the three teams you guys had panned for relegation this year?
I would have to say I thought Everton would have gone down. Personally.
Yeah, I had Everton. Yeah. I had Southampton, Leicester, and Everton going down this year. I thought Ipswich did enough to stay. I thought they did. I thought their business was good enough that it might keep them up. But yeah, I had Everton going down.
They're going to get absolutely picked to pieces. Ipswich and Southampton. They're getting absolutely raided already. I mean, Delap looks like he's going Chelsea.
I love
Tyler
Diblin,
Southampton, Arsenal, and Everton. Yeah.
Sorry, Bobby.
Look, it could be bottom three. I thought Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and I actually thought Wolves would have buckled it this year. That's who, like, before any ball had been kicked, if someone would say, "Oh, choose your relegation fodder," they would have been my relegation fodder.
You thought Wolves were bad? You thought Wolves were bad enough to go down, huh?
Yeah. Wolves. I think Wolves were lucky. I think Wolves were lucky this year, and I think next year when they've had when Cunha's not there, and some of their other better players have been picked away by some of the bigger teams, they'll go down next year.
Yeah. Just want to ask you one question, guys, before we do finish off. Inter Milan tonight. If you were an Inter Milan fan, how angry would you be at this moment in time with that? They didn't even have a shot on target in the whole game. Does Inzaghi get the sack now?
I don't think he gets the sack. I think he walks away.
I don't think he gets the sack either. As a matter of fact, I think he stays. Now, the question, here's the thing, though, right? You bring up a very interesting point, though, Dermot, because they were in the driver's seat for Serie A there until the very end where they coughed it up. And you get to a Champions League final, and you get absolutely embarrassed in that final as well, too. So there actually is a case to be made that he actually can be sacked.
Yeah, I think so. The Keeler says here, Everton are really bad, but Moyes done a great. For me, David Moyes deserves manager of the season for what he did. He came in and he turned that team around. He says, and that's the kind of performances where managers ain't there next season. Do you think the Inter Milan players were playing for the manager tonight? I don't think they were. I don't
think they were playing.
No, I don't want to say that because it is a final. I just think that PSG is so good, good, and they were dominate from the opening whistle. Like Inter Milan just couldn't get into a rhythm. They could literally for the first half they couldn't get out of their own half.
Well,
So
the Super Cup is PSG versus Tottenham Hotspur. It's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it? It's got a nice ring to it. Look, we are.
By the way, I gotta say this real quick because this is the funniest thing ever, right? So, this guy in the chat says they might have smashed dinner, but are they ready for Ange Ball? And the guy goes on to say Thomas Frank will keep PSG in check.
Can I just say, I don't even think Steve realized the background I put on for him tonight. Right, here's the question. Can you name the American city where that is?
I know that.
That's the Statue of Liberty. So
no, it might not be. No, it's not. No.
That is I'm looking at the Statue of Liberty right now, and
it might not. No, it's not.
That's
no,
in New
it's
York
not.
City.
No. It's called. That's
France.
New York City.
That's
no,
France.
It's not.
That's
in France.
It's New York.
It's New York City. That's the Statue of Liberty right there. Good
Are you sure? Are you sure, Steve? Are you really sure?
Unless on in the river right there in Paris has an exact replica of the Statue of Liberty.
Well, to be fair, the Statue of Liberty is French.
I know it is. I know it is. But that
so
being
who
said,
gifted France then? Who gifted France the Eiffel Tower then?
I don't know, but we gifted
Blackpool.
France the missionary position. Hey, we gifted France the missionary position. You're welcome.
I don't.
On that bombshell.
You know what? Every show I say on that bombshell. I think that is on that bombshell. I don't know what to say. Thank you for watching. Whatever this was. It was something. It was something else, guys. But I've really enjoyed it. I've maybe really tired. I may have had a shit night's sleep, and my back's in a jock. I'm walking around like a 90-year-old man. But you've made it fun tonight, guys, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been nice to do a watch along when there's nothing riding on it.
That's funny. But this guy says this is the level we're moving up to, and had to sacrifice the Premier League just to get past Bodo Glimt.
Anyway, but yeah, let us know, guys, if you would like a Premier League podcast with me, Steve, and James. Let us know if you'd like to see that next season. I wouldn't mind it. James, would you think that'd be a good podcast? Us chewing the fat.
I reckon we could chew the fat for an hour a week.
You know. We could convince Steve to maybe we should do an MLS podcast as well and an Irish soccer podcast as well. We should pick a different league every week, and just talk about that league. I mean,
yeah. So the worldwide football network,
the worldwide leader in sports.
Yeah, I can see. Right, this week, guys, we're going to do an hour on the French league. Yeah, 5 minutes in. PSG, they're a great team. Yeah, that's at the end of the league. That's the end of the podcast.
Yeah,
5 minutes in.
Here, we can sum it up in 30 seconds. It's PSG and everyone else.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. You can get this podcast everywhere around in all your podcasts. If it was up to Dermo, you'd be on YouTube 24 hours a day. But yeah, that is the dream, to make THFC Till I Die, the full-time sports network. Well, THFC Till I Die, like Talk Sport. That's my dream, to run it like a radio station.
You got to get out there and get some funding, Derma. Once we get funding, man, we can do that.
Are you trying to tell me that I have to go and work now tonight? You trying to tell me? You're telling me I have to get out and work tonight? Yeah, bugger you. Right, that is a bombshell. No, but
I'm just saying, anyway, like, if you want it to be Talk Sport, man, we need some major investment here.
Yeah, we do. Very quickly, Steve. I know you on later on the Spurs.
Yep. The full-time sports network tonight.
Your channel, whatever it's. Yep. What's your channel called again?
Stateside Soccer.
Stateside Footy.
Till we die.
That's it.
Sorry, my mind's gone dead. So who's on tonight, Steve? God, give us the big rev up.
Yeah, Orlando City SC is hosting the Chicago Fire tonight. Ooh. The Silent Killers that are Orlando City who just love to score at will. You know, you talk about PSG in the Champions League. Good Lord, this team loves to score 4 at will. Against a little bit of a rebuilding Chicago side, there are some nice pieces there in Chicago, but it's a good opportunity to highlight just how good Orlando City is in the context of Chicago, of Columbus, Cincinnati, and Miami. So it's going to be a nice watch along tonight.
Did you say Chicago Fire?
Yes, I did say the Chicago
That's
Fire.
a great TV show. Great TV show. Now,
Okay.
there's actually a TV show called The Chicago Fire. There is actually.
I did.
Seriously, there is.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I was just waiting for you. Once you said it, I said I've got to get that in somewhere. James, where can people find you, sir? People are loving YouTube, by the way, on the channel. Can I just say, this is the last game on the 24-25 season. Thank you to YouTube for all your help with the channels during this season. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the summer content, which starts tomorrow. So
transfer window opens.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it opens while Steve and James are actually on air doing their watch along. But where can people find you, young man, down below me? The young wise one from Wise.
So yeah, you can usually find me if I'm not on THFC till I die.
He's on a topless boss.
No. I'm trying to be serious here, Dervo. Stop trying to degrade me. I'm never on a topless bus.
No, them buses that go round, go show people round, you know, them tourist spots. That's where you find them.
A sightseeing bus.
That's what I meant. Sorry, I don't know why I meant topless bus. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. Be serious now. Where can we find you? Serious.
So if I'm not on THFC till I die, or on stateside till we die, or on stateside footy, you can find me on X at THFC James, and you can send me messages, hit me up, ask me questions about Tottenham or just about football or football in general, and I will gladly reply. It's a fairly new page that I've got open there, but I will be posting updates on upcoming shows that I'm going to be doing.
I just followed you. you.
Oh, thanks very much, Steve.
I followed you first, by the way. Just let you know, I did follow you. I was the first one to follow you.
It's not.
I didn't know you were on Twitter.
It's literally got set up while you were on holiday.
To be fair, he didn't know actually till we were on the show one night, and he actually came up we didn't know until we were doing our as we called it, the piss up after the season ended. I'm sure Bobby's going to look at this stream and never let me loose on this channel on my own again. Sorry, Bobby, if you're watching. But do follow the guys there. Do come back later for Steve. It is one of the best. It is the best American watch along on YouTube. He really is, and he is. He does a good watch along. He is also the #1 American Spurs YouTube channel as well, for the Spurs content as well. He's on a Saturday at 12 o'clock. Your Saturday show for Spurs, and he's so there you go. Right, on that now, I'm going to finish now. Thank you all for watching.
Okay.
Tequila says Colin did it for him. Bless him. Yeah, I did. I went there. Tequila says topless bus or topless bar. That's where my man went. Well, there you go, Tequila.
Topless bar or topless bus. You got to go with the bang bus. You got to go bus.
Bar.
On that bombshell, I'm saying nothing because I might just get over the head with a frying pan. But on that bombshell, see you tomorrow, guys. We're back on THFC. You want to know about Dermatron? You can see me at THFC till we die. Me and James are on tomorrow night, 8 with I Want More. More what? We don't know, but we just want more something. Anyway, see you later. Yeah. Come on, you Spurs in the big cockerel we trust. Trust.
Kulusevski till we die.
Okay. In the big Kulu we trust then. Okay, we do.